Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. So today I wanted to show you how I made these little notebooks that I'm planning to put in journals, in little pockets and things like that. And the intention is to inspire you to make your own and to give you some ideas on how you can use up your scraps. So I have my steps here. We'll go through them. So these are just some of you know how you have leftover strips and little bits and pieces like this, and then little papers. I was making some journals with some larger sheets of this lined paper, and I had little strips cut off, and so I decided to make them into little booklets. This one is like a true little junk journal type little notebook. And then, you know, I've got some with coffee date paper and stuff like that. So I am going to show you what I actually do and how I do it. I'll talk about different binding methods that you can use and embellishing tips and how to do this simple project. So this is a really good project for when you're going through a creative funk. This is what I do anyway. If I'm going through a bit of a creative funk, and I'm unmotivated or I'm in between projects. So I'll just sit down and use up my scraps and make some of these little notebooks. Okay, so, oh sorry, I'm just going to move this away. Okay, so first of all, I also wanted to tell you and show you how I make these little notebook type paper for the covers. And I think I might actually do that first. You've probably seen this method before. I know I have. But basically, we will use just cardboard. And so you just remove this top part. And if you're finding some bits are not coming off properly, I just use my tweezers to remove those little bits. So you remove that, and then you cut it to size, to whatever size you want. So I've used smaller sizes. I think I prefer this one, and I've also used like a larger sheet. And these ones have smaller ridges than this one. You can see thicker ridges, thinner ridges. Okay, and then what I do is I just use the thickest brush you can find so that you can go over a larger area, and I used my just any brown paint or any color paint you want. And as you can see, like not the whole thing has to be covered, so you can just add a little bit of paint just like this and then stamp it on the paper like that. So I will show you some of the results. This is what it looks like. It doesn't look you know, too fancy or anything. It's just like this. And this will actually, if you do it on tea dye paper, this kind of thing would look really good on, you know, as part of your signatures and things like that. So I actually prefer, I really like this sort of messy, thicker look. And then this larger one that I use. That's what that one looks like. So after that's done, you've got your sheets of paper. Then you just this is what it looks like in the end. And this is the thinner ridges. So you can see the difference. Thicker ridges, thinner ridges. And then you just want to, I'm just going to use this one just to demonstrate. You want to rip. You know, don't try and be perfect. So I'm just gonna maybe do like just for fun. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Okay, so we've got that, and then I use my distress ink. You can use whatever color you've got. This is Vintage Photo that I'm using, and you would just distress the edges like so. And then after I've done that, you can just now proceed to glue this on your little covers or on little tags or whatever you're making. So you can just glue it on. Or what I did is I used a little bit of glue stick just to pop it down just to hold it in place, and then I sewed around it. And that's what it looks like, sewed around it, and I just added a little sticker here. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I can pop this away. I'm going to keep the ones that I've got with me. Let's get on to making some little notebooks. So here are my instructions. I'm going to put them here so that you can see. Try and get everything into frame. Okay. So first thing you're going to do is you want to choose a cover. So I've got my offcuts and things like that here. And so I can already see this is a scrapbook paper, but it's a little bit thinner than, for example, which one do I want to use? This one. Okay, so this one is, you know, a little bit of a better quality paper. Okay, so the next thing we're going to, I mean, this is really straightforward. It really doesn't need an actual tutorial, but as I said, you guys might find it inspiring to make your own. So then you just choose whatever size booklet you want. So I'm just going to go this size. And then you can use your scissors or whatever you've got to cut. And this is going to be our cover. Okay, and then even this one can be a little cover, or it can go inside the journal. Inside the notebook. But I would use this also as a cover. Okay, so, and this one would look good with that little thinner. Maybe I'll cut it a little bit shorter, and then cut it shorter like this, and then that would be good for that little mini booklet. Okay, so we've chosen our thicker paper, and now we're going to choose a variety of scraps. But if you are going to sew your little, whatever you're putting on front, you should do it now before you do the binding and everything. So, but I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to leave it for now, just for demonstration purposes. I'll decide later maybe what I want to do with the cover. So the next thing we are going to do, I'm just going to put my cover here, just to make some more space, and I'm just gonna fold some papers in half. So I've already folded some just so we can go through this a little bit faster. I've got this one, and I think I'm just gonna do this one as well. And then you want to place them in a little, however you want. So I think I'm gonna go maybe like this, just place them all together. I'm not giving it too much thought. I'm just going through the process. And this is going to be my little signature. So now that's all in a signature. I forgot to mention, I will demonstrate some of the, I will show you how I actually use my standard stapler to staple these. That's probably the quickest method that you can use rather than doing a pamphlet stitch. So that's what I'm going to show you guys on camera. So now we've got this cover on top of all of my papers. I'm not going to trim anything yet. You certainly can do that at this point if you want to, but I just want to show you how I'm going to staple it together. So I have, to protect my desk, I have one of these cutting mats, and I'm using my mouse pad. So you can use cardboard too. You can just use something like this. So when you're stapling, you're not stapling into something, you're stapling into something that you can easily pull out. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just using a mouse pad that I don't really use for anything else but poking things. Okay, so make sure everything's aligned. Make sure that everything's really close together in this crease, like that. And then, where did I put my stapler? I have it ready to show you. So I'm just using a standard stapler. I don't have that. There are staplers with, you know, high reaching staplers, but I'm just using my standard one. So you can use whatever you've got, but the only thing is you want one that can open like this. So a lot of them do open like this. A lot of the small ones, I don't think they do, but a lot of these just standard ones, they open like that. So next thing I do is I see where the actual stapler comes out from, and there's like a little tiny ridge. I know it's hard to see. There's a little tiny ridge here where the staple will come out from. So I try and align this line as straight as I can on the crease of the spine. So I don't want to staple this way. You know what I mean? I don't even want to staple a little bit crooked. I want to try and staple completely right on the actual crease. So here we go. I'm trying to align it. So hopefully this works. And then I'm not measuring anything. I'm just going with the flow. Okay, so that's stapled now. And as you see, this is now stapled. Well, it comes off really easy, but it was stapled onto my mouse pad. And that's what it's there for. Okay, so when you turn it over, see, it's not perfect because see how the staples are not right in the middle of this. It doesn't matter. This is something that comes with practice. So then you can just use your fingers to, they're sticking out, see? You can use your fingers to push them down, or I like to use whatever, you know, I've got this pokey tool and it's flat on this side, so I'm just going to use that. And then I'm going to do the same on this side and try and make them straight. So see how mine are curling in? I try and sort of make it straight because once we fold our pages, we want that crease to be really nice and straight. So that's not, it's not perfect. It must, the paper must have moved. So I didn't do a terrific job. But for demonstration purposes, I think it's just going to have to do. And it's probably good to see another crafter suffer through mistakes. Okay. So, and yes, you don't want to have, if you're using the stapler, you don't want to have too many pages in here. I might have done a bit too much, too many papers, but we're just going to have to work with what we did. So this is the, okay, so you can use a pamphlet stitch, which is just the normal, you know what that is. You can use the staple, which is what I did. You also have the option of sewing. So I've sewn through these ones, and when I'm sewing, I just use, I don't know the terminology of sewing, but I just made sure that my spaces are larger. So as the needle is going through, I don't want it to be really close together because the staple is going to, the paper is going to rip. So I make sure that I increase the space in between the stitches. And also as you're stitching, you go through the same process. So you have everything lined up, you have your spine really crisp. The less paper you have, the better, I guess. And then you just run it through right, if you can, right on the line, run it through the machine. Another one that I mentioned here is you would punch 2 holes. So I can show you this one here. I just poked these holes here and just ran some thread through. Or where's that other one? All the way over here. So you can see on this one, I just punched some holes, 2 holes there, and ran some ribbon through. Okay, so but for this one we've chosen our staple binding. So the next thing I'm going to do is, at this point I'm going to trim the paper sticking out. You can use your trimmer, or you can use your scissors, or you can do all of this before you actually bind. So I'm just going to use my scissors, just because I don't want to spend too much time. In general, when I'm making these, I don't want to, you know, spend too much time making them. I don't want to be a perfectionist about it. So, okay, so I've trimmed it down. There's a little bit here sticking out, so I might just do this. Trim it down. Let's move this out of the way. I'm making such a mess. And then, so now you've got your little, let's have a look how it looks. So I've got my little booklet. I've got my little papers that I've put in here. Really, really cute, really, really quick, and really nice to add to pockets, I think, in journals. Instead of journaling spots, or to add to a little envelope inside a journal. you know, whatever, add to Happy Mail, whatever, you know. Another thing you can do is play around with corners. So you can see here I've used some of this pretty corner punching. You can just round the corners, which is a really nice look. What else can you do? You can just leave it as it is. You don't have to do anything else to it. But usually I would want to decorate, so I really loved this this little thing that we did. So maybe if I was to use this, I would have sewn it on, but you can glue it on. It looks really nice. Something like this, and then add a little sticker down the bottom. This one I've just used a sticker. It's not great. It's not really standing out. The sticker's not really that great. It's not standing out, and that's the reason why I actually used white paper for my little lines here rather than tea-dyed paper. But you can, you know, the possibilities are endless with this sort of thing. So I think I have covered everything. Yes, so if you have any questions, let me know. I might finish decorating this one and I'll quickly show you what I've done. And okay, I'll see you. I'll be right back. Okay, so you're flipping through your little journal and you're looking at all the little pretty things inside, and everything looks so beautiful. Oh, and you come across this. What is this little treasure? I hear yourself ask. Well, this is our completed project. So all I did was I added a sticker. There's actually 2 stickers. I added a little heart, a little gold heart, and just some little tabs of my little leftovers and, you know, bits and pieces of lace and stuff like that. And that's it. That's all I did. Took 30 seconds, and it looks really cute, especially in a journal like this. So that concludes today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this process. If you have any questions, let me know. This could have been a much longer video or shorter, depending on where you are in your journey. Thank you very much for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.